Hey everybody, welcome. This is Dirt Devil Detecting. My name's Roger, and today we're going to start a series of videos about getting permissions on properties that you may not know who owns them. We're going to show you how to look up who owns the property, where they live, because it may not be the same as where the property address is. It may be rental properties or whatnot. And also how to possibly get phone numbers or emails. We'll dive into that a little bit. And as we progress through this series of videos, we're going to be talking about how to research new newer properties or properties that may have had houses or barns or something on it at some point in the past, usually back into the mid to late 1800s is where the maps go back to, usually 1870 to 1893 is usually where the interactive maps come in. So we'll get into how to pull up old maps, look to see where maybe there used to be a house back in the early 1900s, late 1800s that may not be there now. That may give you a property that you want to research and try to get permissions to get onto. So all that is going to be part of this series, and there's a lot of people that don't know how to research properties, don't know where to go to look, and that's what we're going to start on today. So if this kind of content you find useful, please smash that like button, share it, and please comment if you have any comments as far as or questions. This will probably be a 3 or 4 week thing. I think there'll be at least 3 videos, maybe 4, and if you want to be notified when those new videos come up, or if I go live with them, smash that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. So, anyways, let's get started into what today's video is going to be. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to find land address, land ownership, and the owner's address using interactive land parcel or tax maps. All right, because like I said, your land, even if there's a house on it, may not be owner occupied. So, just knocking on somebody's door and they're renting, they really can't grant you permission. So, we're going to show you also how to look up and confirm that the landowner's name that's associated with it is, the one that goes with the property address. Okay. Again, we got to do a little cross-referencing to make sure we see it in more than one spot. And then lastly, how to look up the possible landowners' phone numbers to make direct phone conversations. A lot of people might not like going door knocking and being face-to-face with, a landowner, but no problem talking on the telephone. No problem writing a letter or being a keyboard quarterback and writing an email or a letter, and that's where this is gonna benefit you. So, give me just a second here while we chime up the next screen here and show you how we look this stuff up. So every state has parcel maps, tax maps, plat maps, they call them. And all these maps have the landowner's name, address, usually tells the year of, if there's a dwelling on it, the year the dwelling was built or thereabouts. It usually gives you the tax information, values, land value, home value, those type of things. And I'm gonna go down right through some examples here in my hometown and show you all these things. The other thing is, you may have a field or something that you go by all the time, but you have no idea who owns it. You don't even know the address to it. I'll show you how to look those up as well, because we've got a bunch of those around here. So let's get into it. I'll show you. All right, so we're here, and what I've got to do is you're looking for these GIS interactive maps. Okay, in my case, it's a Massachusetts interactive property map is what you want to look for. And then what you're looking for is in this case, it comes up with ArcGIS, which is Geographical Informational Survey maps. So when you click on these, again, this is Massachusetts. So if your state, just replace Massachusetts with your state, and you should come up with something similar. If not, maybe not property map, put in parcel maps. But you want to make sure you put in interactive. That way it'll come up with the information just as similar to what I'm going to show you. Every state's different, but this is going to be pretty neat. You'll like this. All right, so here we are in Massachusetts. And like I said, we're going to, oh, my Rocky is going crazy. All right, so here's my hometown. Quiet him down a little bit here for a second. Say no to that. Sorry about that. All right. So let's go down here. Here's a for instance. Here's this Marcan Pond here. Okay. Now see all these little magenta squares? These are all property boundaries. So if you click on any one of these, it'll tell you the owner's name and the address. Again, this address isn't always what this is because sometimes it's they don't live at the property. So each one will give you something different. Again, it goes through the address, it tells you the value, the tax value, how much land, the year it was built. This particular property was built in 1999. Square footage of the property. But I'm gonna go to this piece of property here because this Marcan Pond, there's a old house here, and this calls it a camp. Okay, it's 480 square foot camp built in 1940. Now I've never metal detected here and whatnot, and again, this is all public information. This is nothing I'm going to show you is private. Anybody can get this information, so I'm not worried about blanking out people's names or anything. So anyways, we've got Mr. Thomas Witzel here. Again, now this is Hubbardston, and the owner's address is in Westboro, Mass. Okay, so now at this point, if you weren't comfortable talking to somebody at this point, but you could sit there and you have a whole package together that you wanted to send a letter to this person, telling them what you do and that you're interested in metal detecting their property and that you would like permission. This is all the information you need. You have their address, you got this guy's name. Send a letter. You're done. And you're all set. So, but what if we wanted to talk to Mr. Witzel on the phone? What if we wanted to get him on the phone and say, hey, I don't want to wait because he may not reply to a letter. He may just circular file it, which happens a lot. So we're going to go to this other program here, this other site. Okay. And this you can get to right here at truepeoplesearch.com. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to put Mr. Witzel's name in here. Let me make sure I spelled that right. I did. And he's in Westboro, Mass. I'm going to search him out. All right. So as we can see, he lives in Westboro, used to live in Connecticut, and there's Hubbardston, Mass. So there's a Hubbardston, Mass address here, okay? So this is good possibility. This is the guy we're looking for. So let's hit view details. All right, it says he lives at 10 Central Street, Westboro. We go back to here. What's it say? 10 Central Street, Westboro. So now we have just confirmed the landowners with the property address. Okay. Now, continue down here. Here we have phone numbers. Now, these aren't always 100%. Oftentimes, this first phone number is pretty accurate. Not always. Sometimes you'll get family members that have these numbers. So you may end up talking to a son or a daughter or a wife. But you just call the number and ask for, Mr. Witzel, Thomas Witzel. If they say you have the wrong phone number, it says follow up with a question like, okay, I'm just wondering because do you know a Thomas Witzel that owns property in Hubbardston, Massachusetts? I'm looking to do some metal detecting and I wanted to ask permission. Just explain your situation. And a lot of times if it's a family member, you might be able to get the information, or they may be actually sitting right next to them and give you that information. So, let's go to another spot. I told you about some fields that let's just say you're crossing by some fields all the time. I'm just going to throw on a different map here. I'm going to throw on, and most of these have these. You can look for properties this way. Yeah, let's go over here. That all that? That's that. That's all. And I'm trying to find one that doesn't have anything associated with it. Let me see. Let's go a little bit further here. There's some. All right. Well, there's some fields. You see, this is this house. For instance, now here's a house that it may be worth trying to get information to detect on their property because this is a 1757 house. Kevin Stimson. Let's see. So Craig Kelly Stimson. Trustees, these, so we don't know, but all this property, all through here, may be associated with this one house. Here's some land wraps around this house, and okay, here's a situation where the land is a field right here that's not owned by this person. Mass Audubon Society. In Massachusetts, we can detect Audubon Society. But you get this little field right here. And here's another case. All right. Mr. Johnson here lives in South Windsor, Connecticut, not Hubbardston. So here's another case where you could send Mr. Johnson a letter saying that you're interested in this property on Thompson Road in Hubbardston, and you're interested in metal detecting it, and you'd like to, have his permission to go onto his property, and he could reply and give you written permission through the mail. Or again, let's look him up. Let's Let's look up Ronald Johnson. Right. He is in South Windsor, Connecticut. All right. Well, see now here's a case where he's in the Princeton area and whatnot. So he's probably deceased. So you can look this up. You could probably get information as far as other relatives. Sometimes you get possible relatives. This may have been a 1946. This may be a daughter. This is probably his wife. This is probably a daughter. You might be able to get a hold of somebody there. And again, you can look them up. Same thing. So anyways, you go back and forth that way. Let's go back. I'm just going to go back out. We'll move over to, yeah, now here's a bunch of fields that wrap around this old farm. This is someone that lives at 110 Hubbardston Road, which is right here. That's their property. But all of this land around it is owned by Miss Hubbard, who lives on Houghton Road, which is totally different part of town. So you could get a hold of Miss Hubbard through a letter or whatnot. So anyways, there's just the first way we're going to talk about how you can get permission. So it shows you, look up those interactive property maps, parcel maps, tax maps, and just search through. They're all going to come up with different information. Most of them gives you the owner's information somehow, somewhere in there. As far as the details, you can look them up. You can go to that people find a search there and look them up, cross-reference, see if it's the same person. A lot of times it is. Phone numbers there. Usually the first one or two are pretty accurate. If not, it's usually a family member. So don't be afraid to ask about the name listed on the property and how you might be able to get a hold of them. So again, hope that helps you out in one way or another. I will be doing another video, may come out this coming weekend, and it'll probably be 3 or 4, like I said. So any comments, please comment, let me know. If you like this information, like I said, hit that like, subscribe, smash the bell for notifications, and we'll catch you on the next one.